Hey, YouTube, Rich McCall Serpents. How's it going? Middle of the coronavirus isolation time, but that's okay. I'm stuck with snakes. Not so bad. Hey, in the past, I've talked about having a battery backup system for my incubator to give me a chance to react if the power goes out. So what I have is a Goal Zero Yeti 400 hooked with my incubator hooked into it, and then it is hooked into the wall to keep it constantly charged. So it's always at full capacity, and then I have a chance to react if the power goes out. So I finally, though, I got a chance to run the battery from full to zero because, unfortunately, I have no eggs at the moment. I have eggs coming. I got eggs on the way right now. But my incubator, for the first time in like 2 years, has nothing in it. So I decided I would take advantage of this short time period of sad, lonely incubator to run down the power of that battery and see what I really got. When I got the battery, my first thought was I wanted 6 hours of run time. That would give me a chance to even get home from work if I had to and react to a power outage. And I'm in California. Power outages have become a thing here. So I got a chance to run the battery from full charge down to nothing. And I'm not even going to make you wait till the end of the video to find out. It was 9.5 hours. I was very impressed. Like I said, I wanted 6 hours out of this thing. So getting 9.5 hours, that was fantastic. So here's your parameters so you know what I was working with. Hotbox 48-inch incubator. Herpstat 2 that the incubator heating element is plugged into. The Herpstat 2 has nothing else but the incubator hooked into it, so one side of the Herpstat 2 is disabled. The fan system on the 48-inch hotbox is plugged into a surge protector because the cord on the fan wasn't long enough to get all the way down to the floor where the battery is. The battery's pretty heavy, so I got the floor next to it. So fan into a surge protector into the battery. That's my setup. Probably horrify some electrical, nutballs out there that I'm doing it that way, but it works. And then light in the incubator, it's also hooked into the same line as the fan, but it's turned off, so it was not part of the power usage in all of this. So, and Corey DeLong of CD Constrictors had a great question on Instagram. The room that my incubator is in is always at 80 to 84 degrees, and for the most of the day when I ran this 9.5 hour power usage, it was at 80 degrees. So the incubator wasn't working in a 70-degree room. So your mileage will vary about how cold your room is. You get down in a basement where it's 65 degrees year round. It's going to take more power. You're going to have less runtime on that battery. But I had 80 degrees. In 9.5 hours, I was very impressed. So I'll go ahead. Let's go show you the incubator and I'll go show you the battery system. All right, here we go. So that's my 48-inch hot box incubator that I use. That's what I did the trick with the battery on. I just turned it back on, let the battery get full again, and I just replugged everything back in because I'm going to have eggs any day, so I want it to get warmed back up. So, Herpstat 2. As you can see, the second part of it is disabled. I don't need a Herpstat 2 on this, but I really like Herpstats, and I've got a whole bunch of them. So I just, I could have bought a Herpstat 1, but Herpstat 2 has more versatility. That's what I like. The big racks, the big fear and beater racks and stuff. I like to use a Herpstat 2 on those. So that's my preferred size, is actually the 2, not the 4s or the 6s. But so Herpstat, and this is that plug is actually the computer fan and the light for the incubator. And it's too short to reach down to the battery, so I have it plugged into that surge protector to get to the battery. That's the Canary camera, which is my security camera for this particular room. So, and the room is this room is heated, 81.5 degrees right now. It gets as high as 84 and as low as about 80. So it's on the low end right now. I've had the door open. So that's actually room temperature in here. You notice the all this extra insulation I have on the incubator. That was actually from prior when I first had this in a room that wasn't heated. It was a regular, just a human living abode room, 70 degrees or whatever. And so I put the insulation on it to help with that. AC kicks in, the heat kicks in, and everything changes in the room. I didn't want it to have too much of a fluctuation. And when I switched to a heated room, it was just easier to leave the insulation on rather than yank it all off, so I just left it on. So here's my incubator. Another thing I think I might do differently than some folks is I put water in the bottom. That acts as a heat sink in the first place. And then I also, these waters will be the waters I use in my in my eggs, because I use the substrateless water incubation method, right? So once this stuff is reheated up to 87 degrees, the water will be perfect to go into with the eggs, and so I'll just work through those and then replace the ones on the bottom as needed. So there you notice there's the probes for the Herpstat. I switched out to those metal tipped probes that Herpstat has now, and the old probe was taped under that insulation, and it was just easier to leave it sitting in there. It's doing no harm, and I didn't really need it anymore, so I just left it. So the probe to the right is just there, it's not hooked up to anything. The metal probe is what I'm using, and it is right in the middle of the incubator, so that it gives me, you know, the temperature right there as a good central point to me. There's your fan. If I have any, it's not even a complaint. The one thing about the hot box incubators is that fan is open. It's plastic. It's a computer fan. But until I figured out I was an idiot, and I stuck my hand in that fan like a dozen times. So I just have to be aware that that fan is on and it's right there, spinning free. And that's a false wall that's right there that comes down at the very bottom there where the water caps, the water bottle caps are. That's where the false bottom opens up and circulates the air through. Look how empty it is. It's so empty. It's never empty. This is literally in 2 years I haven't had an empty incubator, and so it's sort of sad. But I have eggs coming any day, so I can't really complain about that. And I mean, what these are, this is a scientific thermometer that I've got going here, a little Fisher Scientific. It's just a higher quality little old deal. It's all old and used, and I bought it on eBay, but it works really well. That being said, I'm still paranoid about temps, so I throw one of those in there, you know, one of those Home Depot specials. Plus, of course, you got the Herpstat, and the Herpstat's pretty much perfect anyways, so I'm just being anal retentive because it's eggs, right? And that's where you should be anal retentive. That date and time are wrong because it's just on. So anyways, there's the inside of my incubator. So my stickers, guys. I know I really like Forgotten Tribes. That's a cool sticker, but I don't have everybody stick around here. I like to be able to see into my incubator, so I really only want to do the edge. So it's my pals from Golden State and Royal Serpents and the podcast over there in the UK and Turtle Conservancy, and that's mine. I'm kind of cheating there. National Rifle Association, Aero Precision, KB&W Royals, Beast Morphs. I like that one, Beast Morphs. I have a whole bunch of other stickers to get on. I'm going to circle the bottom. I just haven't actually done it yet. So anyways, that's my incubator. It's the same as every other hot box out there, but I really like the hot boxes. So back to the battery. Here's the battery. Goal Zero Yeti 400, and this is the regular battery. They have a lithium ion version available now that I personally think is much better for you to have a lithium one. It was much more expensive, but it didn't have, when I bought this, they didn't actually have any of the lithiums. They came out afterwards. I would buy the lithium now to do it again, so you can see it's full again. It's taking in 62 watts from the wall. Right there, this is the plug to the wall, input from the wall, and then you can do all this. It's actually for like camping and stuff. So they have the cigarette lighter one, 12 volt. You can do a USB on it if you want, and then it's got 2 regular plugs. So that one is the Herpstat, and that one is the surge protector that you already saw. And then where it says AC, see those are not lit up green. Those are not turned on right now. So you just basically push that button and it switches everything over to this AC. And so the Herpstat runs off the battery, and the battery recharges. And that's the whole point of why I'm using the battery. The power goes out, the battery kicks in, and now I know for sure it can go 9.5 hours and still be working. And when it hit 9.5 hours, basically, I was watching every 15 minutes to make sure it was still on. So it was like 9.5 to 9:45 when it quit, somewhere in there, and everything just turned off. The AC popped this little button when it got down to the lowest point like it's supposed to. People have asked this, pure sine wave. That's a battery, and I don't understand electricity whatsoever, but the pure sine wave apparently is what makes it viable for any kind of a computer. So that's what makes the Herpstat 2 functional on this, is I guess the pure sine wave. So I was looking for that when I bought this. So Goal Zero Yeti 400. It is the size. You can see my hand on top of it here. It's the size of a, you know, a big car battery, marine battery or whatever. And so I just put it on the floor and out of my way and let it all run off it. And that is that. Goal Zero Yeti 400 gave me 9.5 hours of run time from fully charged with a Herpstat 2. And the canary was not actually plugged into it when I did that. That would actually use a little bit more power up probably. But that's the fan in the incubator and the light in the incubator too, but the light's usually turned off. So that gives me time to react.